And welcome to ETF Edge, your go-to place for everything ETF. I'm your host, Bob Pisani. Thematic ETFs are hot right now. We're going to dig into that. Corporate bond ETFs on fire. We're going to talk about that as well. And the IPO market's hot as well. We're going to show you how to get in on that on top of all the other topics. Once again, two of the best people in the business joining us today. Chris Hempstead, head of ETF Institutional Business Development over at New York Life. Todd Rosenbluth, Director of ETF and Mutual Fund Research at CFRA. Todd, let me start with you. I keep looking at these thematic ETFs. We used to make a joke about this. You know, it started with Bitcoin, then it went to pot ETFs. Tech themes, tech thematic themes, artificial intelligence, social media, cloud computing are all catching on. They've replaced sort of plain vanilla indexed ETFs as a darling, and I guess why not? They capture the zeitgeist, don't they? What is it that's appealing about these thematic ETFs?
Well, we're currently in an environment where everyone is working from home for the most part and doing school perhaps from home. And so some of these themes fit in very well. You've got cloud computing themes, ETFs like WCLD from Wisdom Tree and CLOU from Global X. You've got cybersecurity products like CIBR from First Trust, robotics like BOTZ. These are in the tech space. But thematic in general, you've seen healthcare-oriented thematic ETFs from ARC, or climate change-oriented ETFs like ICLN from iShares has gained popularity. We really think thematic ETFs are here to stay. They're not only a replacement for some of the sector ETFs you talked about, but if you're an old stock jockey, as I used to be as a financial advisor, these ETFs offer the benefits of diversification in a relatively low cost structure in one trade to be able to get 30, 40, 50 names to get your exposure. It's a really good concept.
And Chris, it's a pretty diverse business. You know, I mean, I suppose ESG is a thematic type, but I'm not even talking about that. I broke it down three different ways. Global X had a report on this a little while ago. We could talk about fintech as a thematic thing. We can talk about social media. We can talk about the gig economy. We could talk about climate change. We can talk about sustainability. I guess it breaks things down pretty easily, right?
It does, and I think what people need to really grasp with thematic is it's not always about artificial intelligence. It's not always about, electronic vehicles and things like that. Sometimes thematic can also include a way to express an overweight or an underweight, in some cases, to a particular sector. So we talk about broad-based passive indices like healthcare or energy or something along those lines. But if you want to overweight oncology, for example, you can find a thematic ETF that overweights those names. Additionally, you can also look at other strategies like low vol. We talk about thematic low vol products. There's an S&P low vol index. There's our high yield index IQ low vol ETF, which is HYLV. You also have currency hedge products, which again, some funds are not currency hedged, some are fully hedged, and ours is 50% hedged. But that's also a thematic way of expressing your view in a broader index-based world.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of thematics, Todd, I sort of made a little joke about work from home. I said, when we're going to get a work from home ETF? And of course, we got one, Direxion, and we had Dave Matza on just a few weeks ago talking about that. WFH is the symbol. And you've noted this as well, right on cue. There it came. And we've got almost $60 million in assets in a few weeks. It usually trades over 100,000 shares a day, which is, 5 or 6 million. And here's some of the stocks that are in it. It's not bad, considering it's only been around for 3 weeks. So there's obviously some serious interest in something which sounds like a sort of invented idea. Let's buy work from home, but it seems to be working.
It is. I mean, so we touched on cloud computing and cybersecurity as two of those themes. You get those within this ETF, but you also get other ones. Companies like Zoom would fall into a different of those subcategories. But you mentioned this is just 3 weeks old. It used to be investors would wait 3 years before buying an ETF, and then they started going into it earlier once they got a look at the underlying holdings. 3 weeks is really impressive. It's a sign that this ETF has certainly resonated with investors. It hopes well for its future.